Hi everyone, I hope you're okay, and I hope that guys the videos we keep uploading are helping you out. This is a continuation video, guys, from the video of Alkenes. Just stay tuned, guys, and indulge. Uh, on this video, guys, I'll be just naming these organic compounds, and then drawing the structural formulas when necessary. Okay. For the first one, I have three carbons on my parent chain. Remember that, guys, whenever I start counting, I must forever start from the carbon which is closer to the double bond. So this will be carbon number 1, 2, excuse me, and 3. So my prefix will be prop, since I have three carbons on my parent chain, and the double bond is between carbon number 1 and 2. So I will always choose a smaller number between the two. So 1 is smaller than 2, and then my suffix will be in. Okay, and then for the second one, I have four carbons on my parent chain, so my prefix will be but. And then since the double bond is between carbon number 1 and 2, I'll simply write 1 because 1 is smaller than 2, and then my suffix will be in. Okay, and then this will be my parent chain. Remember that, guys, I must always number my carbons closer to the double bond. So this will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yes, I'm dealing with an alkene, but I do have additions on my alkene. Together. So in carbon number 2 as well as carbon number 3, I have my methyl. So I'll simply write dimethyl. And then the parent chain has 5 carbons. So this will be pent. And then between carbon number 2 and 3, I have a double bond. So I'll obviously write the smaller number between the two. That will be 2 in. Okay, and then for the fourth one, this will be the parent chain, right? And then this will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Please note that, guys, we always number from the terminal which is closer to the double bond. Yes, the parent chain has 6 carbons, but I do have substituents or additions rather to my parent chain, and whenever I write down my IUPAC name, I need to mention these additions in an alphabetical order. Eth comes before meth, so I'll simply say that in carbon number 4 I have an ethyl, and then in carbon number 5.5 I have 2 of the methyls, hence I'm writing dimethyl. And then since the parent chain has 6 carbons, it's dimethyl, and then hex. Between carbon number 2 and 3, I have a double bond. That's hex 2 in. Hex 2 in. So the IUPAC name is 4-ethyl, 5.5 dimethyl, hex 2 in. Okay, and then for number 5, this will be my parent chain over there, and I must always number my carbons from the terminal rather, which is closer to the double bond. So this will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But I do have additions in carbon number 4 and carbon number 3. I'll simply say this is 3.4 dimethyl, and then the parent chain has 5 carbons, so the prefix will be pent. And then between carbon number 1 and 2 I have a double bond. I'll simply write a 1. And between carbon 3 and 4 I also have a double bond. I'll simply write a 3 over there. And then the suffix will be in, since I'm dealing with an alkene, not in rather. Because I have 2 double bonds, right, I simply have di-in. Di-in. Okay, now let's focus on this one. the parent chain, remember that, guys, for alkenes, ne, your parent chain should have the most number of carbons, and secondly, it should consist of the double bond. So this will be the side chain over here, not the side chain rather, but the parent chain, ne? And obviously it has two additions, that's side chain number 1 and side chain number 2. So whenever I number these carbons, I'll number from the terminal which is closer to the double bond. That will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Are we together? And then I know that at carbon number 4, I have 2 of my side chains. So I'll simply say this is 4.4 dimethyl. The parent chain has 6 carbons, so the prefix would be hex. And then between carbon 2 and 3, I have my double bond, so I'll write 2 in. The IUPAC name will be 4.4 dimethyl hex 2 in. Okay. This will be my parent chain here for compound number 7, and obviously I should start numbering closer to the double bond. This will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I do have my additions. This is the first one is an ethyl, and then the other 4 are just methyls. This structure, this shouldn't be here, guys, ne? Remember that, guys, your carbon should be always surrounded by 4 bonds. That shouldn't be there. Okay, so the IUPAC name for this thing, at carbon number 3, I have my ethyl, and then at carbon number 2, 3, and 4, that's 2.3.4.4, I have my tetra methyl, and then the parent chain has 5 carbons. Remember that, guys, tetra means 4, right? Since I have 4 of the methyls, I should write tetramethyl. And then the parent chain has 5 carbons. That will be pent. And then between carbon 1 and 2, I have my double bond. That's 1 in. So the full IUPAC name will be 3-ethyl, 2.3.4.4 tetramethyl pent 1 in. Okay, and then for number 8, yes, this is the parent chain. This will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I know that at carbon number 2, I have my side chain, and that's the only side chain. So that's 2-methyl. The parent chain has 4 carbons. That's but, and then I'll say 1.3 diene. It's diene. Okay. For number 9 and 10, guys, please do write the IUPAC name. Please do write the IUPAC name on the comment section, just to see whether you guys understand or not. Ne? I'll therefore come and correct you if you are wrong. For number 9 and 10. Ne? Okay, now let's go to 11. 11, we are given a condensed structure. Firstly, I will write I'll draw a structural formula and then write down the IUPAC name. So I simply have CH3, CH, as well as CH2. Okay, remember that, guys, my carbons should be always surrounded by 4 bonds. Right, together. So if I don't have 4 bonds surrounding my carbons, it simply means that I have an extra bond between adjacent carbons. So the IUPAC name for this thing is just prop 1 in. Okay, and then the second one, I have CH2, I have CH, I have a CH over there. That shouldn't be there. For this thing to make sense, I was just supposed to have, let me rewrite this thing. Excuse me guys, ne? For this thing to make sense, I have a CH2, I have a C as well as a CH3, and another CH3, ne? So the structure should be like CH2, C with the CH3, and then I have a CH3 at the end. Hydrogen, 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 hydrogen. Remember that, guys, all your carbons should be surrounded by 4 bonds. Are you together? All your carbons should be surrounded by 4 bonds, ne? But this carbon and that carbon, they are both surrounded by 3 bonds, which simply means there is an extra bond between them. Are we together? So the IUPAC name of this compound will simply be 2-methyl prop 1 in. Excuse me. Okay. And then for number 13, I simply have CH3. I have a CH2. I have a CH, another CH. To make it make sense, let's do this. I have a CH and a CH. No, rather let me leave it like this. Okay. I have a CH, that's CH3. Let me write CH3, CH2, CH, and a CH. Okay. And then I have a CH as well as a CH3. Oh, okay. And then a CH3. A CH3 over there, like this. Please note that, guys, these 2 carbons are not fully bonded. They are surrounded by 3 carbons. They are surrounded by 3 bonds rather. So which simply means there is an extra bond between those adjacent carbons. So the IUPAC name for this compound, this will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this will be 2-methyl and then hex 3 in. 2-methyl hex 3 in. And then for compound 14, I simply have a CH3, a CH as well as a CH3, and I have a CH over there, and the C with the CH3, I have a CH2 and a CH3. Just write the hydrogens for it to make sense. I really hope we are already naming this compound. You can see that, guys, these 2 carbons are not fully bonded, which simply means there has to be a double bond over there. So the IUPAC name, remember that, guys, we must start numbering from the carbon which is closer to the double bond. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So either way, guys, whether I start from the left or from the right, the double bond will be between carbon number 3 and 4. Are we together? And then if that's the case, we must start counting from the terminal which is closer to the side chain. So that will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I know that I will simply have a 2.4 dimethyl And then since the parent chain has 6 carbons, the prefix will be hex. And then between carbon number 3 and 4, I have a double bond. I'll simply write a 3 there, and then an in for my suffix. So the IUPAC name is just 2.4 dimethyl hex 3-ene. Okay. And then the structural formula for this one, I'll simply have a CH3, a CH, another CH, and then a CH with a CH2 and a CH3, CH2 and a CH3 as well. Just write the hydrogens over there. The hydrogens. I really hope you can start, you now see which carbons are not fully bonded. Né? These 2 carbons are not fully bonded. Why? They are surrounded by 3 bonds, which simply means there must be an extra bond over there between the adjacent carbons. We must obviously number our carbons from the terminal which is closer to the double bond. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are together. I know that at carbon number 4, let me use red color. At carbon number 4, I have an ethyl, and then the parent chain has 6 carbons, so that's hex. Between carbon number 2 and 3, I have a double bond, so I'll write a 2, and then the suffix will be in. That's 4-ethyl hex 2-ene. Okay. And then for this one, I simply have a CH3, a C with 2 CH3s, and then a CH and a C with an ethyl side chain, and then a CH2 as well as a CH3. All you need to do is to write the hydrogens. I hope, guys, by now you can see which carbons are not fully bonded, and then you must insert a double bond there and then write down the IUPAC name. These 2 carbons are not fully bonded because they are surrounded by 3 bonds instead of 4, which simply means there's a double bond over there. So when there's a double bond there, our IUPAC name, before we write the IUPAC name, we must number our carbons. Né? We'll start numbering our carbons by 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, this will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I know that at carbon number 4, remember that, guys, I have 3 additions to my alkenes, né? And whenever I mention my additions, I should mention them in an alphabetical order. So ethyl ethyl should appear before methyl, né? So I'll simply have 4 ethyl, and then I'll have a 2.2 dimethyl. This will be hex 3-ene. I don't have too much space there. It's 3-ene. Okay, number 17. Number 17, I have a CH3, I have a C with a CH3, I have another C with a CH3, and then I have a CH with a CH2. There are carbons which are not fully bonded over there, guys. I hope you can see them by now. There are carbons which are not fully bonded. Firstly, these 2 carbons are not fully bonded. They are surrounded by 3 bonds. That means there must be an extra bond over there. Secondly, the last 2 are not fully bonded as well. There must be an extra bond. So the IUPAC name for this would be interesting. Let me see. This would be carbon number 1 because it's closer to the double bond. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Ne? So carbon number 3 and 4 have the additions. That's dimethyl. And then the parent chain has 5 carbons. That's pent. I have a double bond between 1 and 2. I'll write 1. Another double bond between 3 and 4. I'll write a 3 over there. And then I'll simply write diene. So the IUPAC name will simply be 3.4 dimethyl pent 1.3 diene. Okay, number 18. I have a CH3, I have a CH, and then I have a CH. What do I have? Number 18 is not an alkene. Okay, I have a CH3 like this, and then I have a CH. Oh, I thought this is a side chain. Excuse me, guys. Ne? I simply have CH2s which should appear 3 times. Ne? I have CH and another CH. That's the CH, and then the CH2s that should appear 3 times. That's 1, 2, and 3, and then I'll simply have a CH3. I hope you can already see which carbons which adjacent carbons have lesser bonds. These 2 carbons are not fully bonded, which simply means I have a double bond there. So this will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So this will be hept 2 in. That will be hept 2 in. Ne? Okay, and then for number 19 and 20, guys. Okay, let me do it for you. That's CH3. I have a C and 2 CH3s there, and then I have a C with the CH3. These are supposed to be CH, not CH2. And then I'll have a CH over there, and then a CH3. A CH and a CH3. Ne? Then all you have to do is to write down the hydrogens over there. Hydrogen, 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 hydrogen. We can all see that, guys, there are carbons which are not fully bonded. Ne? These 2 are not fully bonded, which simply means there's a double bond between those bonds. And whenever we number our carbons, we'll always number from the terminal rather, which is closer to the double bond. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Ne? I know that I'll simply have a 3.4.4 trimethyl. It's trimethyl. This will be pent 2 in. And then for number 20, I have a CH3, I have a CH2, I have a C with an ethyl there, and then I have a C with a methyl, and then a CH3. I believe you guys can already see which carbons are not fully bonded. Between those carbons you should insert a double bond. These 2 carbons are not fully bonded. They are surrounded by 3 bonds, so that means I have a double bond over there. I know that between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this will be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Remember that, guys, we must always start numbering from the terminal which is closer to the double bond. Ne? At carbon number 3, I have my ethyl, and then at carbon number 2, I have my methyl. The parent chain has 5 carbons. That's pent. That's pent 2. That's pent 2 in. That's pent 2 in. And then now all I have to do, guys, excuse me about that. All I have to do now is to draw the structural formula of the last 6 compounds. Okay. The structural formula for 2-methyl prop 1 in. The parent chain has 3 carbons. So 1, 2, 3. Ne? Prop 1 in. The double bond has to be between carbon number 1 and 2. And then I have a methyl at carbon number 2. All I have to do is to make sure that my carbon, guys, is surrounded by 4 bonds. Ne? And then just write the hydrogens. Please don't make a mistake of having bonds which are not equal to 4 surrounding your carbons. Okay, the second one, the parent chain has 4 carbons, so that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. The double bond is between carbon number 2 and 3, so I'll simply write my double bond over there. And then I'll have a side chain over there. Since I have 2.3 dimethyl, another side chain. And then all I have to do is to write my hydrogens. Excuse me. Okay, the parent chain has 5 carbons. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ne? Between carbon number 2 and 3, I have a double bond. I'll simply indicate the double bond. And then at carbon number 3, I have an ethyl. That's 1. Then carbon number 2, I have methyls over there. Ne? It's not supposed to be 2. It's not supposed to be 4.4. It's supposed to be 2.2. 2.2 tetramethyl, not 4.4. Then just write the hydrogens over there. Your structure should look like this. Your structure should look like this. Your structure should look like this. No? Over here, the parent chain has 6 carbons. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then the first carbon has a double bond. Okay. So I simply have my structure like this. And then at carbon number 3, I have my side chains. Oh, it's diethyl actually. And then all you have to do is to write your hydrogens there. You write your hydrogens like these. Okay. And then for the last 2, the parent chain has 6 carbons. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I have double bond between carbon 1 and 2. as well as 2 and 3. I'll have my hydrogen there. Once I have another hydrogen there. Okay, I'm done with dealing with the parent chain. Now I have to deal with the side chains. Okay, carbon number 4, I have an ethyl. Carbon number 4, I have an ethyl. This should be 3.4 actually, not 4.3, not 2.3. And then at carbon number 3, I have my side chain like this. Then all I have to do is to write down the hydrogens. Né? Just make sure that, guys, your hydrogens are fully bonded. There are 4 bonds, not more and not less. Not hydrogens rather, but carbons. They should be surrounded by 4 bonds, not more and not less than that. Okay, and then for the last one, hopefully is I have 5 carbons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Between 2 and 3 I have a double bond. Okay, that's the structure will be like this. And then carbon number 2, I have a side chain. Number 3, I have a side chain, and number 4, there's a side chain as well. All you have to do is to write down the hydrogens. Yeah, that's how, guys, you deal with alkenes. Nah? Whether you are given a structural formula, you must easily write the IUPAC name. If you are given a condensed structure, if you are given a condensed formula, your duty is to first write down the structural formula and then draw a structural formula rather, and then write the IUPAC name. If you are given the IUPAC name, just draw the structure. Yeah, that's how you deal with alkenes, guys. Né? Just stay tuned, guys. I'll be posting the video for alkynes just after this one. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to share the video, guys, to your peers, and please do subscribe.